Kamala, a story of Hindu life, is today's topic of discussion. So, hey friends, this is Moon and I'm welcoming you all to my channel. So, basically, this is a requested topic. So, thank you so very much for requesting this, and this topic is really quite important as well as influential. So, the writer of this novel, Kamala, is Krupabhai Sathianandhan. And, friends, guess what? She is called as India's first lady novelist. Okay, so Krupabhai is India's first lady novelist. And this novel Kamala was written in 1894. It means that it is the pre-independent era. So this story represents the scenario of colonial India. 1894 means it was the colonial domination, it was the colonial period. That's why this story represents the scenario of colonial India. So here in this novel, the central character is a Hindu widow whose name is Kamala. Okay, and this novel illustrates the continuous conflict between the tradition and the modernity. Friends, as this story represents the scenario of colonial India, that's why in this novel we can witness the conflict between tradition as well as modernity. Okay, so a conflict between tradition and modernity was going on in the mind of Kamala, who is none other than a colonial modern woman. So here the main protagonist is Kamala. So friends, the full name of this novel is Kamala, a story of Hindu life. So here Kamala is the main protagonist, and as the name of this novel suggests that this story depicts the Hindu life, the Hindu customs, traditions of a Hindu society in India. Okay. So in relation to this theme, okay, the novelist shows Kamala who lives with her father Narayan and her granny in a hut. And when Kamala was 2 years old, her mother died because they are far from a doctor. Okay. So when Kamala's mother suddenly taken ill, then she got no medication because they are far from a doctor. They cannot reach hospital or cannot call a doctor. So from the very childhood, Kamala was very kind to each and everyone. She also treated the Sudra girls, means the girls who belong to the low caste. She also treats them kindly, and they also play together and help each other. Okay. So, as this story represents the scenario of the pre independent era, that's why here the novelist brings forth the scenario of child bride or child marriage. Okay. And at the age of 8, she got married and became a child bride of an Orthodox Hindu Brahmin family. So here the novelist shows that at the day of Kamala's marriage, a person named Ramchandar comes. So Ramchandar is basically the son of Narayana's sister. It means that Ramchandar is the cousin of Kamala. So he suddenly came at the day of the marriage of Kamala. Okay. Actually, friends, Ramchandra and Kamala are actually betrothed to one another while they were living together. But suddenly, for some reason, Ramchandra goes outside of the house, and then the marriage of Kamala took place. Okay. The Kamala's husband's name is Ganesh. So, friends, this was the one facet of Kamala, and now the novelist shows that Kamala becomes a bride. So, as Kamala becomes a bride, she is harassed by her in laws, which was none other than a portrayal of the patriarchal society of the pre independent era. But Kamala, being a woman who has both the quality of tradition as well as modernity, she always yearns for an atmosphere which gives her freedom. So, initially, as time passes, Kamala's husband Ganesh started to take interest in Kamala, and then he started to teach her. But Ganesh indulges in an extramarital love affair with a mistress called Sai. Okay, so Sai was the mistress of Ganesh, and Sai was such a courtesan who always longed for children. Okay, it means that Sai always yearns for having a baby or children's. But friends, tables took a turn when Ganesh blames Kamala for having an extramarital love affair with Ramchandra. But there was no such things. So when Ganesh was blaming Kamala for having an extramarital affair with Ramchandra, then Kamala at one point seems to be a rejected wife. And Kamala's position as a rejected wife seems so impossible that she contemplates suicide. She spots her baby daughter who was gurgling and was trying to reach out for the stars on a beautiful moonlight night. Okay, so it means that when Kamala was so dejected, so oppressed as well as depressed, when she was thinking to kill herself. Then she saw her baby daughter was gurgling and she was reaching out for the stars. So that sight gives her hope as well as strength to not to flee to her father's house. So basically, friends, as per the tradition, generally the rejected wives, after being humiliated, go to their father's house. But in the case of Kamala, as she has a modernity, a sense of modernity in her mind, she did not flee to her father's house, but she goes to her father-in-law's house and confronts him. Thus, she took a step ahead against the allegations that Ganesh has given to her. Okay, it means that Kamala revolts against Ganesh and then she comes to her in law's house. So, after all these things, Ganesh dies because of cholera after the death of her infant girl. Actually, friends, Kamala gives birth to a baby girl, and soon that baby girl was died, and after the death of her baby girl, her husband also died because of cholera. And there can be no reconciliation between Kamala and Ganesh. And that is only the deepest regret of Kamala, that she cannot reconcile with her husband. So, friends, at this point, we can say that the novelist here shows threshold of womanhood. It means that firstly, the novelist shows Kamala as a young girl, and then Kamala becomes the bride of an Orthodox Hindu Brahmin family. And after this, the novelist has shown her as the mother to a baby girl. 2 years later, after the death of Kamala's husband, suddenly one day Ramchandra proposes Kamala. But Kamala rejects the proposal and decides to spend her rest of the life for charity. Actually, she also in her own mind, loves or likes Ramchandra. But as I said before, that she has both the quality of tradition and modernity. That's why she rejects the proposal and decides to spend her life for charity. You know, friends, when Ramchandra expresses his love to Kamala, he also tries to convince Kamala to accept Ramchandra and live a happy life with him. But Kamala also responds positively at first to his proposal, and she says that her heart also beats for him. But at the same time, Kamala also says that she is ashamed of herself. It means that responding to a love proposal or to love someone as being a widow is a shame and a matter of disgrace. Okay, so this feeling stops Kamala to accept the love of Ramchandra. So thus the desire between the two clashes with each other. Ramchandra argues for the fulfillment of the desire, whereas Kamala argues for the denial of the desire. So both of them, they represents a modern as well as a kind of traditional point of view. So in the case of Ramchandra, he represents the modernity, and here in the case of Kamala's denial of his proposal, it represents the traditionality, or you can say the traditional orthodox views. Okay, so friends, from the above discussion, we can definitely say that as women in a patriarchal society are treated as an inferior being, they are oppressed, they are depressed, and they have suffered much. So, Kamala is such a story which depicts the life of a high caste Hindu girl named Kamala who got married at the age of 8 and then she crosses the threshold of womanhood. And in this novel, Krupabhai has explored the social condition like Charles Dickens. Okay. Last but not the least, this novel is also called as a lament for unfulfilled lives. So with this, let us now end this session. So thank you so much friends for watching this video, and if you find this video a bit helpful, then please give it a like, share this video and subscribe to my channel. So bye for now. See you in the next session very soon.